Ta-da-da-da-da! Hi, my name is Jaciel, and today we're going to present to you worldwide news. Today we're going to talk about minority groups. I'm going to tell you about the minority of Syrians in Germany. These people started to get to the European Union around 2014 and 2015, when there was a civil war in Syria, and the violence that they were facing made them leave this place. Germany was one of the countries that offered themselves to be welcoming with these people. So Syrians started to get to this country, but they were also started to face racism. It's well known by now that Germany is no real safe place for these people, since there have been many incidents in which Syrians face violence and verbal abuse. And in 2018, there was this march in Germany in which the Germans started to ask the government to make the Syrians go out. Now it's the time to tell you a testimony of one of these Syrians. His name is Salas Twani, and he's been in Syria for a long time. The problem is that he has made 6 applications and none of them has actually worked for him. So he cannot study, he cannot work, and actually he cannot even stay in Germany anymore. The principal problem with these applications is that he needed to get to Germany by another country. In this case it was Spain, and they didn't make his application right in the first place. So now he's having issues and he cannot stay. Let's go with Ivana to see what she has to tell us.
Now I'm going to talk about the elites in Nepal. The elites, or untouchables, are the poorest and most discriminated members of Indian society. In a caste system that still survives, people born the elite will die with this condition. They live in conditions of extreme poverty and suffer great economic inequality and social discrimination. Especially serious is the situation suffered by child population. A high percentage of elite children do not attend school or drop out before finishing primary, which means they are forced to work in the streets or practice begging. In the case of girls, being an elite woman implies triple discrimination by caste, class, and gender. Elites suffer from restrictions of the use of public amenities, deprivation of economic opportunities, and general neglect by the state and society. As an example of a real-life story, there is Mayawari. She was illiterate for much of her life. As an elite woman, she faced discrimination and was ashamed of who she was. With support from our partner feminist elite organization, FEDO, Mayawari joined a woman-led group and completed training courses. This helped her to realize how important her voice is.
Thank you, Ivana. And now let's go with Mike, who's going to talk to us about African Americans in the United States.
Thank you, Jaciel. Now I'm going to talk about the African American people in the United States. The African American population makes up the 16% of the total population in the United States, being the second largest minority after the Latino. They are almost all descendants from the black slave people that were brought to the continent many years ago. Although slavery was abolished a long time ago, racism is still one of the major problems that this group faces, which restricts activities in their everyday life, and this contributes to the continuous discrimination. Scholars talk about the existence of structural racism in the US. There are studies that corroborate this. In 2018, a poll made by our news company found out that majority of the American people believe racism is a major issue in the United States. According to the poll, 64% said that racism remains a major problem in society. This is while 45% of Americans believe that race relations are getting worse. There's a testimony of a man named Ekil Houston. He belongs to the African American minority, and he said that Barack Obama did not really change the situation in America. He says that yes, it was a symbol to the US citizens, but he did not really do any changes in the US system, which actually makes that the situation continues and it gets even worse with every year it passes.
Thank you, Mike. And now let's go with Napoleon, who's going to talk to us about Syrians in Canada.
Well, and moving on, I am going to talk to you about another minority, a Syrian minority in another part of the world. in this case, Canada. Since the Syrian civil war started, many Syrians have fled the country looking for better living conditions, but not all European countries have received them properly. So this is when Canada came to their aid. Many Syrians tried to flee the country to Canada, but due to their location and distance and ocean between the countries, this was hard. Nonetheless, Canada tried to help as most Syrians as they can, sending many planes, but not all Syrians could be helped. This is actually thanks to the way Canadian people act and behave to people from other countries, and also the government which is in command, which have redacted and passed many liberal bills which help the immigrants from other countries. A testimony from a Syrian refugee in Canada is Hassan Al-Kontar, who tried to escape Syria because he didn't want to enlist in the militia to fight the war. So he fled the country but got caught in an airport. He couldn't leave because his passport didn't work. He stayed there for about a year until the Canadian authorities let him enter the country as a refugee.
Thank you, Napoleon. And now let's check out the report I did on Latin people in the United States last week.
Well, now I'm going to tell you a little bit about Latinos. The Latino community, or the Hispanic speakers, are a big minority in the United States. It's one of the fastest growing minorities in this country. Latinos experience a lot of difficulties while being in this country, such as the language because they speak Spanish, poverty, ill health, they don't have health insurance, and also daily discrimination. They can also be arrested or incarcerated by unfair reasons. But they're not all bad things. They can also get help from institutions such as colleges or schools. Because they're Latinos and they have a lot of these difficulties that I mentioned, they get special scholarships given to especially Latino community.
Meet Jessica Diaz Hurtado. I'm going to tell you her testimony. Her grandmother came to United States at a very young age. She started hustling and selling Mary Kay products in this country. Soon enough, her daughter, Jessica's mother, came to the USA as well, to survive and prosper. Jessica's father came to the USA when he was 17 years old. He had to move out of his origin country, which was Colombia, Bogota, because there were a lot of guerrillas and a lot of violence going on in there. He moved here and he as well began to work. Then his mother and his dad met and had her. Now she lives her life with a lot of enthusiasm and charisma because she has learned how to fight for what she wants. She says that her grandmother taught her to always look at the bright side, and she appreciates that she gets to live in a country where there's no violence or no war.
Thank you for watching Worldwide News. I'll see you next week.